Hi, welcome to Suplex the Sticks, a gaming podcast hosted by David and Seth
It's on the internet.
and Forrest.
It's got to be true. It's
So
on the internet.
Seth knows how to land a plane.
Yeah, I just learned on
Yeah.
the internet.
Yeah,
Like,
didn't even have to go to flight school
It's
or
ridiculous.
anything.
They gotta fly for like hundreds of thousands of hours,
Yeah.
and it took me 15 seconds to learn how to land a plane
The Matrix, dude.
on an AI video.
Oh, God. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, that's
you guys know
definitely
that
gonna-
that AI voice on videos. You hear the guy who's like, he talks like this.
Yeah.
And I.
It grates my ears.
Do you think that's a person?
No.
Like, there's an actual original person that
No,
sounds like that?
No, I think
No.
it's an amalgamation of voices.
No, what?
Did I say that right?
No, you did not. Amalgamation.
Amalgamation.
Just think of Amalgam Comics and then put.
I'm very
Mation.
tired.
Amalgam Comics.
Today has been a
That's what I
long
thought it
day
was.
This is true.
with a lot of costuming and a lot of stress. And sometimes you forget parts of words. But
That's
the one
okay.
thing I'll never forget or forgive
Sorry,
Jump
did I
scare.
get you?
is that
Bless you.
Nintendo had a direct today, and they brought back the second screen experience as well as the Kinect. So we're
Truly, it
We're
truly
here.
was an incredible day.
Smart Glass and the Kinect are back.
Let's go. It's 2012
Nintendo
all over
truly
again.
is doing the based thing of copying their competitors from 10 years ago, and I'm thriving.
You know, I have an interesting tidbit about that.
Yeah, we'll get to it.
But first,
We'll
we're gonna mostly talk about Switch stuff today. Has anyone been playing anything interesting?
I finally got my Gauntlet Runner in Metaphor.
Nice,
And no, if someone had told me that it's an angel from Evangelion with the metal shell, then I would have maybe played.
They're
faster.
also cool. I absolutely was not expecting them to be like giant freaky boats with legs.
Yeah, that's they're Evangelion angels with metal shells. Yeah, it's
That rocks.
It's wild.
Man.
yeah, it's great. But I'm liking that game.
So many good
I'm going
designs
to.
and metaphor.
I'm sad that I mean, by me saying this, it spoils it for other people. But if you've listened to other podcasts talk about this game, I know that Heisme is a party character you eventually get. So like,
Yeah, I mean, they pretty much you don't have to listen to the podcast. It's like the actual Atlas Twitter account is promoting it.
really,
Yeah.
okay.
Oh, good lord.
I mean, we're far enough removed. I think that they figured anyone who's
Yeah.
playing it now already knows. But
Yeah, but
Yes.
the whole impetus is that you're going to kill this character Heisme
Ah.
because
But
he
I-
steals kids. and
I did not know. I think once I met him, I was like, "Oh yeah, this guy's gonna be a party member," because it's pretty clear. Every one of the party members is incredibly unique looking compared to most of the people. They're either, if you see someone that looks unique,
yeah,
then they're gonna be in your party or you're gonna fight them.
It's the anime rule.
Yeah.
yeah. So that's my gaming.
Nice.
I wish I had played more. I just don't. I'm having a really hard time with gaming. I got like really into Assassin's Creed Shadows for 4 hours and then hard ejected from that game. I was like, oh, I don't need to do this anymore. Which is basically what I did with Mirage also. So,
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah. I don't know if I do want to give it a try at some point.
Same.
But because a lot of people say that it's good, and it seems
I
to
agree.
be it seems to be the best version of the modern form of Assassin's Creed. But I still don't know that totally interests me all that much.
they started to ask me to build a base, and I
Ooh,
was disinterested.
Yeah.
And you had to collect resources to build that base.
I'm
and
good,
I
actually.
don't care.
It's tough.
Don't-
I understand when
I'm
games,
sure it's for some people.
it's really annoying because I know that previous, I think Brotherhood had stuff like that. Not base building, but I remember there was
No,
stuff.
you would upgrade buildings.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I remember at the beginning of the game that like you are sort of forced into doing it because you have to learn how to do it.
Yes.
In case you want to
But
engage
you-
with it.
So here's the problem with that.
And I
is-
was annoyed by it.
Yeah.
And but like now the systems that they're introducing are so much more in depth and,
Yeah, you
and
have to-
require so much more time to teach.
like
for a thing that you're not actually going to go
Or
back to at
want
all
to
during the
use.
game.
to give you an example, they were like, all right, now you've got to build this building. You have to choose the location of the building. If you place it here, it's going to eliminate some ways that you can get resources. So you don't want to put it somewhere where it's going to take away your Lee's resource. And it's like, I
Yeah.
don't care.
Yeah.
Don't care. It actually made me, that was one of the reasons I hard ejected.
Yeah.
That and maybe the Ubisoft model relies a little too much on going into spirit vision and then out of it and into it and
yeah.
out of it and into
I mean,
it
it's always been like
and out
that.
of it. Yeah, but it's
But they've found ways here and there to innovate it and make it feel less tedious. Like the first time in Origins when they introduced the bird and you get in the bird's eye, like that was cool. But again, I haven't played any.
there's no bird in this one.
Yeah.
I'm saying like the secret vision.
What does
Yeah,
Japan
that's-
not have birds?
That's what they did in Origins.
No birds in Japan.
Oh,
The Eagle
Curious.
Vision, right?
Yeah.
That's what it used to be called.
Yeah.
But in Origins and then in Odyssey, your Eagle Vision was an actual bird that you
Yeah. It
jumped
was
into
the
and flew
Watch Dogs
around.
drone.
Yeah.
oh man,
Yep.
that's funny.
Seth, have you played anything that you're interested in?
Well, I did. This is since we never talked about it on here. I did finish, whatever that game was called. What is it called? With the mushroom people
Mushroom people.
and the
Captain Toad's
no,
treasure trap.
Avowed. I finished Avowed. I knew it was one word, and I was like,
Also hard ejected from that
the heck?
game.
Yeah.
"Oh, that's too bad." It's a very fun game. It's a full throated suplex certification. For
I'm
me.
glad.
I
Oh,
really
man.
enjoyed a lot of it.
Yeah, I feel like we haven't had a suplex certification in a hot minute.
Yeah.
I think that I learned with this, and it's a good thing for me to know now. Maybe first person, like melee RPGs, are not for me.
You know, you could
You
play
don't really
Kingdom
have to.
Hearts in
There's
first
guns.
person.
What?
There's guns.
Right, I know.
But for me, it would have been hard to play without the melee weapons. And I've liked that kind of stuff ever since the first Elder Scrolls I laid eyes on.
I kept playing it, Seth, and I kept wanting it to be Immortals of Avium,
Mm,
which is,
yes.
So true.
and it wasn't, and it couldn't be.
What could be? Yeah.
And so,
I mean, I think that the magic wands you can use are as close to Immortals of Avium
What
you
is-
could get without it actually being like a first-person shooter.
When is Immortals going to be on the Switch too?
never. That studio's dead.
I can make it happen.
Okay.
Listen, I want it. I would love for that.
But I thought it's very cool. Like there's a moment, maybe like halfway or 2/3 of the way through that where you're finally like, oh, wait a minute, the actions that I choose have direct consequences on what is happening in the story
Yes.
and to characters that I have met. Sometimes to tragic ends. But it's really cool at the very end of the game. Like, all of the choices you made sort of are folded into what the final conflict ends up like. And I'm sure it's all, sort of different states of the same fight.
Right.
But, like, the people that you will meet and the
places you'll go.
the inputs that they will give you on what's happening and the amount of people they can help send in to fight with you, and even some of the people that you'll end up fighting against, depending on what choices you make, will show back up. And I just thought it was really neat. It was kind of a full culmination of everything that happened.
Heck yeah.
Kind of annoying. It is very un-Elder Scrolls in the fact that once the game ends, it's over. Like,
Okay.
once you finish the story, there's no more to do. And, like, you can load back in, but it just loads you into your last save, your last autosave or whatever. So it's not like you can go roam back around and do more quests. But
Yeah.
by that time, there isn't really a whole lot more quests for you to do, honestly. Depending on how you play. It's a sizable game, but it's also doesn't feel huge. which I liked a lot.
Good.
Very nice.
A lot of fun characters in it too.
Yeah, the more and more I see about the game, the more and more I'm like, dang, I really got to hop on this.
Yeah, man.
Or it's too far gone.
There's a lady in it who is a flaming skeleton who is alive only because of her devotion to her god. There's a lot of blue-skinned reptile people.
I love the Asari from Mass Effect.
Yes. There's a guy who is what do they call it? He's I forget.
He's avowed.
No. There's like a term they have for like people who are born who are touched by the gods.
Yeah,
and he's
I can't remember
like
that.
made of pure gold
Oh crap!
and has a flaming sword.
Yeah, man. Okay, this is very much my.
Yeah, there's
style,
a
then.
colony of dwarves who live in a giant stone castle.
Beautiful. I do have a
on
quick
the side
question.
of a volcano.
I do have a quick question about the relation of the title of the game to the game world itself. What does avowed mean? Is it like a group of people
No,
that are
I don't think
special,
it's-
like, or
I
is
don't
it
think
like
there
a
is
pledge?
a specific meaning of it within the game. It maybe more just like, I don't know. I guess it's thematic, sort of,
Okay.
in the way that you are tied to the different factions and the different people and the mysterious voice in your head
Mm,
that knows secrets
yeah.
about you.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
cool. It's cool.
Gotcha.
Forrest, how's Halo?
Great as always, but I did have a new gaming experience. I promise. I checked out the zombies mode for Black Ops 6, which was actually kind of fun. The map that we played on was really freaking big, and it was just kind of confusing at first, but then the more and more my friends and I played of it, I was like, oh, this is actually kind of like the classic zombie experience that I'm familiar with. Because I really bounced off hard at the zombie modes in those games once like Black Ops 2 hit, I think, and there was, I think it was called Transit, where you just go from like area to area on like a bus. I was like, that's too large scale for me for zombies. I want a tight map with a few pathways that I can train some zombies through, and just go to town, have a blast. And that's kind of what Black Ops 6 Zombies mode is. Once you kind of get all the ancillary and like the new mechanics out of the way. But it felt very classic and familiar to me once I got into it.
Nice. Was there a Black Betty musical moment?
There was not, which means it is infinitely worse than Back for Blood.
Yeah, that's too bad.
Because no zombie game could be Back for Blood. And I hope for the rest of my days
Zombies
it stays
game
that way.
was the first Zombies Call of Duty before Left 4 Dead?
Yes. Because it was World at War, which was 2008. And then Left
I'm sleepy.
Left
Yes.
4 Dead
I
was...
just wonder which.
Was it? It was before Zombie U. This-
Yes.
Left 4 Dead was November of 2008.
2008.
Call of Duty did it first.
2009.
Call of Duty was probably like 2 weeks. It was the week before.
Wow.
Did it
Okay, so there
first.
wasn't
Dang.
really any cross pollination of
No,
ideas.
it was just the zeitgeist. Dang. Curious correlations to make. Bless you. You didn't get me that time. But yeah, so Black Ops 6 Zombies, fun. Black Ops 6 also, I have fun with that game. That's actually the go-to game to play now, instead of Halo, for the most part. So, I
The
guess
new
you'll be
Black
proud
Ops
of-
Zombies?
Yeah.
Oh, I need to try it.
Yeah.
I have it downloaded still. No one texts me to play Call of Duty anymore. I get asked, "Why don't you play it anymore?" by my friends that still play it,
Yeah.
and I say, "I
You
don't
never-
know you're playing it,
Yeah.
or else I would play it with you." Because I'm never going to boot up Call of Duty by myself.
This is true.
But see, that's the difference. Those people are always booting it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're booting it up by themselves, and I respect it. But I'm never going to boot it up, and I can't see that they're online. At least, like, some of my friends,
Yeah.
because of PlayStation and stuff.
Oh yeah, that's true. Oh yeah,
Unless I boot into Call of Duty, and I'm not going to do that by myself.
smart man. It sucks. Playing
Yeah,
that
it
game
can-
solo legitimately blows.
I would never do it.
Yeah, it's extremely frustrating because they do the skill based matchmaking thing, and that essentially, long story short, just means if you do good in one match, you will very likely lose like the next like 5 to 10 matches.
Yeah.
'Cause
Skill-based
they'll-
matchmaking doesn't matter if you're good at the game, Forrest.
So true. Well, no,
It's not wrong.
It's genuinely so funny to me. When I play solo, I am like 4th or 5th on my team a lot of the time. So then when I play with my friends, I am consistently 1st or 2nd in the entire
Because
match.
your friends suck.
Yeah, it's because your friends suck.
You just-
That's the thing.
you just gotta
One
tank
of them
games.
is better than me, like most of the time.
You
and
just
then
have
the
to
other one
know
is,
that
like,
you have to
barely not
tank
as
a
good.
game
Yeah.
in order to then
It's-
load into a game that will be fun.
Yeah, so true.
It's like
Maybe
one
we
for
gotta
them,
start,
one for you.
Yeah, we got to start
The
gaming the
Scorsese
system.
rule.
Yeah, we got to start gaming the skill-based
Gaming the
matchmaking
gaming
system.
system.
Yeah, exactly. And then I also started Dragon Age Veilguard.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, because it was one of the free games on PSN last
It
month.
was.
And by started, I mean I made my character and watched the first cutscene, and then I had to go to work, and I have not been able to play it in a week because of it.
That's
But
a
tomorrow
long
morning,
shift.
baby, yeah, I just
Tomorrow
clocked out
morning
to
he's
come
going to
here.
go to fight Radon instead of playing
I
Dragon
beat
Age.
Radon.
You
I
did?
I thought I told you guys this.
No, this
No.
is big news.
Oh my
No,
God.
you finally did it.
Yeah, I did it like 3 or 4 weeks ago.
You didn't
Wow.
tell anyone.
Holy
crazy.
crap! Yeah, I did it. Oh, I was
Wild.
screaming. I was hooting and hollering and howling. It was a wonderful experience. I was playing with with my friend John, and he got killed like 2/3 of the way into the fight, and so I just locked in.
Yeah, he decided to let you solo her.
Yes, so true. Oh, I did respec my build, but
And
I
he did accept help.
I've always accepted help in Elden Ring.
You kind of talked about like you weren't accepting help.
I
with
was
this
doing
one.
some solo runs. I was trying it, but for the most part, it was John and I trying to whittle him down. But yeah, I respect my build a little bit to maximize the damage output for my swords. I changed one of my swords, and then I took off all my armor so I can get a light roll,
Wow.
You have.
which did actually improve
Yeah,
my
it changes everything.
capabilities. Yeah,
I wonder if anyone has
crazy.
ever beat it with a fat roll.
very
Probably.
likely
I've
because
seen.
people are crazy.
I've seen people one shot him.
Yeah, I saw it too. I saw someone do a no damage run against him,
Yeah.
and that was just like
It's
I don't
it's
get it.
disgusting the way that
It
people
is.
have broken Elden Ring.
I mean, it's neat.
I
It's
love
neat,
it.
but it's
I love it.
disgusting.
Yeah,
You know, I saw a video the other day of Elden Ring, where a guy, I couldn't tell if he was an invader or if he loaded in to help do a boss, but his name was Let Me Solo Me, and he just
kills himself.
he just did the skill where you stab yourself over and over, and then drank a potion that makes you blow up. And it
The
really-
cracked physics.
It really made me laugh.
Oh my god.
He just
That's
did
insane.
it until he
great.
died.
Yeah.
And it was like furled finger. Let me solo me has died.
That's beautiful. I love
is.
joke character builds like that. It genuinely is so fun. It's so useless, and that's kind of where all the joy comes from.
Yeah.
Like what a waste.
Yes.
But yeah, I beat Radon.
Elden Ring,
It was
one of the
wonderful.
funniest games of our time.
This is true. I can give this.
In a game that will be on the Nintendo Switch 2.
Yes.
That's
So yeah,
true.
you said you saw an Elden Ring video the other day, and I was gonna say, well, I saw an Elden Ring video today during.
Why
the
didn't you
Direct.
say it?
Because
Way to bring
I
up
didn't-
things you were going to say and then end up saying them like 2 minutes later.
Yeah, well, many such
So-
cases for me.
All right, now let's talk about the Direct
Yes.
because I
Well,
missed.
first of all, let's talk about the first Direct. Because
I-
the reason we didn't record last week is because Nintendo announced a Direct,
Oh yeah, just a
a
random Switch
Nintendo
Direct.
Switch Direct
yes,
for last Thursday.
I barely remember stuff that was on it.
Well,
Witchbrook,
pretty much everything that was on it was on the Direct today.
right? Witchbrook looked cool.
But there were for a couple of
Metroid Prime 4.
yeah,
looks
that
amazing.
was we saw the
Yes,
first big
I'm
look of
so
Metroid
excited
Prime
for that.
4. We saw more of Pokemon ZA. We saw
Which
the
they
new,
made sense of the Pokemon ZA title,
Yeah,
which was nice.
yes, but I'm still pretty sure that there's the A also is going to reference a legendary Pokemon because that's what they do.
Yeah, but it does make more sense.
Yes, the ZA.
You are
whatever
climbing the
battle
ranks.
royale.
You are climbing the ranks.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they made it a lot like real life Paris, where if you go out at night, you get mugged.
Yeah. You can gank people in real life.
Oh goodness.
You just
Yeah.
go up behind
That
the
is
guy.
hilarious that you could just chuck a Pokeball or just tell your Pokemon to attack someone who's not even looking at you.
Yeah, you're ending their
It's
life.
hilarious.
I love it.
I still wonder how
I'm
much,
so
like-
glad Pokemon is finally getting into the darker side of things.
Pokemon After Dark, literally.
Yeah. What is
I still do wonder, like, how they're going to put enough space in the city. I know they're making it as close to life size as it would be, but enough space to have, like, enough Pokemon to catch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder what
Do
they're
you-
going to do.
Do you think that Typhlosion isn't allowed to be a starter after the allegations?
I think so.
Or
Or if you don't know about the allegations,
I guess I'm not on social media much
well,
these days.
it's not from social media.
It's
It's
from-
from
official lore.
in the development files of I don't know what game it was, but in one of the huge Pokemon Game Freak leaks, there was a bunch
We-
of
we
like
talked
we've
about this on the
about
show.
it.
You guys know my memory.
There
Yeah.
was a bunch of lore people had written for I forget which generation they were thinking of taking it in like a darker. It might have been Gen 4 or 5.
I was gonna say
I
it was
think.
probably 4.
And it was a bunch of stuff that never ended up getting in it, but one of them was a story about this girl who
Oh,
went
okay.
to the woods and found this guy that she lived in a cave
yes,
with.
I remember this.
And it turned out to be a Typhlosion.
Yeah, Typhlosion's not
Yes.
beating the allegations.
He's not beating the allegations, and
But
He
also, he was a starter in the last Legends game.
yeah. Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. That's the
forgot
thing
about that.
everyone on social media seems to have forgotten.
Well, that was
Because
because
they
they
had-
had before the allegations.
That's true,
came
that's
out.
true. But I just...
I guess, right?
yes. Yeah, yeah,
That
I
was
guess.
pre-allegation.
yeah. But it's probably when the allegations happened.
Close.
Well,
In the
him
past.
being one of the starters in that game probably is what started digging up
Yeah, it's true.
this buried
Yeah, that
past.
would be when in the past that happened.
Yeah.
It would be ironic that the Typhlosion
Is
that
your
was named in
Typhlosion.
that story is yours from
Yeah.
that game.
So
Yeah.
the
Pokemon
mainly
does as Trainer
Witchbrook,
does.
Witchbrook looks great. I'm excited for Stardew Valley Witch Time.
But also,
That looks really fun.
the crazy Tomodachi life.
I don't like it.
I don't
wanna
know what
talk
to
I
think about it.
do.
I do like. It's crazy that
It scares me.
first of all, it's insane that they've brought this back. I like that it's just Mii's again with their crazy
Yeah.
voices, like computer voices.
Yeah. Oh, Rhythm Heaven. That's
Yeah,
the-
and
Rhythm
the
Heaven.
big one was a new
Always.
Rhythm Heaven,
Great.
which is important.
I got
For us
emotional.
all.
I got emotional.
Yeah, man, I freaked
Yeah.
out.
I heard the little click and I was like, ah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I heard it
knew-
too, and I went,
knew the
"Wait a
noise,
second."
The sound effect immediately.
I was like, ah.
What about Disney Villains Curse Cafe?
So I've heard things about this game. I was listening to the Bombcast today, and Mike Minotti had played it already, and he said that there, Jafar in it. This game is all about yassified, modernized villains.
Oh, Jafar is probably the most yassified.
and Jafar,
He's pretty yassified in
Already.
his original incarnation.
but Jafar has started a meme coin,
Oh God.
Oh my god.
and
I
and
need
is
him
trying to
dead.
get into,
This is both awful and wonderful.
and is trying to get people into the idea of giving him real money for his fake money. So,
That's
so
truly
that it's absurd.
Yeah.
see, the most unexpected thing I would ever expect.
It'd be
in a
really funny if
Disney
there was
game.
an option for you to just kick him out of the cafe or whatever it is. Like, just get out of here, man. Go away.
But I am going to play this game.
Another
Yeah,
thing
of
we
course.
learned, Tamagotchi. Did you know that that's how it's pronounced? Tamagotchi?
I don't like it.
Yeah,
I don't
I
think it's
don't-
right.
I
Everyone has always said Tamagotchi.
Yeah, I recognize that the company thinks it's pronounced that.
Yeah, they can make that statement.
Yeah.
It doesn't
It's
mean
like
I
that's
the
not going
guy
to change the
who
last
quote,
20-something
unquote,
years of
created
my life.
GIF says it's GIF.
Yeah, dumb,
He's
stupid.
wrong.
He's very wrong.
And Tamagotchi is wrong.
Exactly. The last 20-something years of my life in regards to knowing about the existence of Tamagotchis is not going to change that.
Yeah,
I call them
it is
that.
offensive.
Also, the virtual game card confusing system.
It's
The
not
sys-
confusing. It makes perfect sense, and I'm very excited about
I
it.
think it's
The
confusing.
system that
Because
David
you-
will not allow me to utilize.
You haven't tried to share a digital game with another system, and the absurd ways
that's
that you have to
true,
do
that's
that.
Yeah.
And so now Marianne can play Mario Wonder. It's the best thing I saw on Blue Sky and everything afterwards was genuinely you could see the people that have gone through the struggles of trying to share digital games with people within their own family being like, oh my God, finally they've done something. And the people that haven't needed to interact with the system at all going, this What's doesn't the make point? sense. Why are we doing it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's the gulf is wide.
Yeah.
And
The people have forgotten DS download play.
and also what I
Not Nintendo, though.
want, yeah, especially
God.
with the direct.
Yeah, yeah.
But like especially, I'm a freak. Everyone knows that I'm a freak.
And I'm a weirdo. Forrest, what the
There's-
hell are you doing here?
There's
I
part
don't
of me
belong here.
that has always wanted a Nintendo Switch Lite
Yeah.
so that I could
understand
have
that.
a little pocket one. Mm-hmm. You know what's stopped me from having the
Not
Nintendo
being able
Switch
to put
Lite?
any of your games on it?
Not being able to move my digital games to it because you have to make one your primary Switch and then jump through a bunch of loopholes. And this alleviates that. And
Now my question
beautiful.
is, so essentially there are now digital game cards, but I wonder, is this like every single game?
yeah, all your well, no, it's just your digital ones.
Well, yeah, but
No,
like,
but I mean, like,
is it applicable to every
is it-
digital game?
Yeah.
you
Right,
have,
is-
or is it select like?
Because they
Nintendo
only
games?
showed the Nintendo games. In
Of
the
course they
Switch.
did.
Yeah, it's just as an example, but I imagine it's every digital game.
Yeah, but anyway, you now have instead of digital games, you have a digital game card library,
And you can swap them within 8 members of your family.
Yeah. You can share them locally to someone, and they can play
Hey.
it.
Guess what? Xbox really tried to do this. And everyone told them, hey, Xbox, go eat it.
Did they try though?
Yes, this is, and I'm not trying to be an Xbox person here. This is what was proposed for the Xbox One. And then Sony made their little, oh, sharing a game is so easy with the physical disc. And then,
They're right.
They
yes,
are right.
They
yes.
are right. But in
But look,
the climate we're in now,
here is the difference. Xbox was like, you can't share a disc.
Yes.
With Nintendo, you can still
Share
pop a
a
game
card.
card and give it to someone else.
to be fair, Sony also did the you can't share a disc thing. Because as someone that worked at GameStop, you had to sell those weird $5 codes so that they could activate their used game to play them online. The Madden, like a bunch of.
I don't remember that either, but I know that you are correct because I assume you were working there at the time.
Yes,
that
because
happened.
a bunch of games back then, Madden, some other like games, you could buy the game and do the single player modes. But if you wanted to play online, you had to buy the $5
man,
surcharge.
I hated that online pass
really
system
crazy.
for some like a bunch of games were doing back then.
But that's what it was.
Yeah, yeah.
Is that's what that was. So like I'm not saying that in the end that Microsoft was right. I do think they saw the writing on the wall for digital games, especially because of where Steam was at the time.
But I don't think that their solution was. It was an imperfect system that they had
yes,
implemented.
but it was going to be this.
that was
like
that was buttressed by the fact that they weren't going to allow people to share physical games, which of course it doesn't matter now. But yeah, you can share your digital library. So this hasn't gone live, so it's still not entirely clear how it works in person. And it did seem like at first you had to have someone in your Switch Online family plan, like they were paying for it, but it seems they just have to be in your family group that you set up.
Yep.
I think it's still unclear to me, like if the local sharing you can do that with anyone, or if they also have to be
In the family.
But the cool thing is you can digitally lend out games to people, and they can play them without having to connect to the internet.
Yeah.
Which I think is
2
like
days.
Yep.
it's,
2
it's,
weeks.
it's that's the important part, is that like it wouldn't really be lending a game if they had to always be connected to the internet. So I think that's
Yeah.
cool. It's very cool. And it's sort of what Nintendo does with their the Switch Online, like virtual consoles. Like you have to, every once in a while it will check to see if you're allowed to play it. But
Yeah.
I probably every time it updates, I don't know. But in between those times, you can load it wherever you want, which is sort of a similar idea.
Yeah.
It seems to be cool, and
It'll be nice.
Yeah. I love a system that lets people share games.
Because now
with each
Seth
other.
wants to play Mario Wonder, I can eject it from my console and he can put it in his.
Yeah.
If he ever gets the feeling to play a 2D Mario.
It's a very good game.
That game
I imagine
rules.
it
So
is. But you know me, not really in
you
my
you were
wheelhouse.
burnt. You were burnt by the new
I really
series.
was.
and-
That's new Super Mario Bros. Ever
And I
since
do
then,
think it's worth it
do
to
not
give
wanna
it a
play.
shot.
Yeah, feel wonder, joy, and whimsy in your 2D Mario life again, please, Seth.
Yeah, Wonder is so good.
Wonder Joy Whimsy.
Let's-
So is the
can
next
we-
one Mario Joy, and the next one after that Mario Whimsy?
Yep, you heard it here first. I know things that not even Nintendo knows.
Let's talk about the fact that
I was assuming you had an uncle who worked there, but
you can
no. my
you
my
can be the
uncle's a-
cow from Moo Moo
crap.
Meadows.
but anyway, today there was
the cow,
the
cow.
obvious
Moo Moo Meadows.
Nintendo Switch 2 Direct where they revealed
The
all,
cow.
There was a tell-all.
They made
Novel.
Diddy Kong Racing 2.
They made Donkey Kong Odyssey.
They did it. Oh my God, they did it.
Not inaccurate, I guess.
Nintendo's acting like this is a new concept, but the real ones know that this is Diddy Kong Racing 2
yeah,
on a bigger scale.
I would say it's more akin to. Well, I guess they were sort of.
If you look at the key art, there is planes and jet skis.
Yeah.
So
Planes, trains, and automobiles.
Oh, I was gonna say, yes, that part. But there's planes.
yeah, look,
I mean, they
right
had
there.
that in the. Well, no, I guess they weren't
true.
planes before, were they? They were just gliders attached
Yeah.
to the cars.
There were umbrellas and gliders, flowers.
But there were also
Kites.
gliders in the footage of the game.
Yeah, but there could be planes.
Who knows what the heck?
I mean,
is
I see a
going
plane right there.
on. But yeah, Mario Kart. So today was the Nintendo Switch 2 reveal. And it opened with the one Switch 2 game we know, the new Mario Kart.
We
Which
know
is
two
called-
new Switch 2 games. Now,
Yeah, but we didn't. We
Yeah.
only knew the one.
we only knew Mario Kart.
And it was Mario Kart, and it is Mario Kart World. I thought for sure it was gonna be Mario Kart Wonder, but I guess they don't really do that kind of naming stuff.
Yeah. Like, there's no new Super Mario Kart.
I do
U.
really like that's called World because like
It's honestly
you get
not
the
surprising there isn't.
you get the vibe of like Mario Kart.
You can't.
There's
keep
no
hitting my
Mario
foot,
Kart
Seth.
11,
I
You know
can,
what I mean?
and I will.
and like it follows the Super Mario World.
Yes,
Like,
I
you know.
do. I like that.
This is true.
You know, going away from the numbers, I think it shows that it's. They're going in a new direction, and the whole world thing, where, as we found out, the entire. This is a racing game with a world map.
I missed this entire part of the presentation.
Really?
Yeah, I had to go
I was
back
asleep.
once I got to work and watch
I haven't
this.
even watched it. I was asleep
Oh.
through the first 12 minutes.
You haven't
I thought
watched the
it's-
whole presentation?
I thought it started at 10, started at 9.
That's what I'm saying, man.
I missed the first 12 minutes, and it's okay. I still am excited.
Well, it looks very
I saw
cool.
most of it.
But yeah, the world part is in that rather than individual courses, there are individual courses, but they all
Right.
take place in this huge world map, and then you have to drive from one course to the next.
Yeah,
which is awesome.
And
I'm
also,
curious-
you can just hop into the place at any time and just drive around.
Yeah. I'm curious how that driving between courses system works. Like, is it still a race?
I don't
at
know,
that
they
point,
didn't
or is there,
really
like,
show-
some-
there is
some
a
time
mode
in
that
between.
is you going from course to course to course to course.
Yeah.
And then there
But
is
yeah,
a
they
marathon.
they didn't actually show the way. They just said it. They didn't show how, like in the Grand
how it's
Prix,
implemented.
like what it means for you to drive from course to course.
Yeah, and if your placement within the race is influenced by that time in between races, or is it like wait till everybody gets to the new course and then start new from there?
I would think it would be the latter. I think that, and maybe it just gives you like a chance to explore, and maybe there are probably secrets and stuff
Yeah.
that you can find to help you in the next race, or
Ooh,
items hanging out around.
Get this
in
man to
caves.
Nintendo.
I don't know, but it seems cool. But yeah, there's also the mode, the knockout race, where your split second had a mode like this where everyone is racing, and then at certain points, only the top however many will remain in the race. So you have to stay out front as long as possible to win, which is cool.
I'm excited for the marathon mode
Yeah.
Yeah,
because that's the one where all the courses run together, which we kind of had a taste of that in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, where the course was one super long course with different checkpoints.
Mm-hmm.
So this is even longer than that, where it's 4 courses running into each other.
It's a long race.
Yeah.
It's like
a big
what is
meal.
that one race?
Yeah,
that
it's
lasts
like
all
a
day?
cannonball run
Yeah.
type thing.
the steel ball run.
Yes,
Um,
coming soon. The reveal.
Yes, sir.
I'm really excited for this. I love Mario Kart. I'm of course going to save $30 by buying the bundle.
Yes, sir.
That's, in my opinion, we can go listen to like a financial analyst podcast about the
price.
reason, but really, in my opinion, the best thing I heard today makes the most sense to me because Donkey Kong's gonna be 70, is that they're pricing Mario Kart at 80 so that you feel like you are getting one over on Nintendo by buying the one with the bundle.
Man, but there's gonna
It's-
be other games that are gonna come out at $80, and it's gonna be.
Well,
like,
yeah,
Yeah.
GTA
Ugh.
6 is gonna be $100. It's
You
just
know, I'm pretty sure I spent $80 on Xenoblade on the Wii when it came out.
no,
Because
you didn't. You bought it used for 80.
That's right. Yeah,
Because-
I still spent it.
You still spent it.
Yeah,
But-
on Xenoblade. It just wasn't going to
That was
Nintendo
one,
and
that was one of the reprints too.
Yeah.
No, actually, it wasn't even used. It was just that GameStop got
Opened it, and they
and
opened it
called it used
Yeah.
because it was like
because they
they did
printed so many,
they
so
reprinted
little
it.
of them. Yeah,
and sent them out.
GameStop
But
opened.
I
the
guess
cases.
since they weren't original, they could say, "Well, whatever." It was stupid. I spent it though because I wanted that game and I
Fair.
played it.
Fair.
I'm just saying, if I'm going to play a game a lot, I'm going to buy it.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, I have played probably 100, 200 hours of Mario Kart 8.
Yeah,
So
it's good.
I'm $80 is a
Yeah.
drop in the bucket.
This will definitely be. I haven't bought a Mario Kart game since DS. Partially because I didn't have a Wii or a Wii U.
What about a 3DS?
I did have a 3DS.
You're how are you one of the only people on God's green earth that did not buy Mario Kart 8 Deluxe? Because there's 60 million
all of my other friends did.
there's 60
That's
million
why.
copies of that game floating around that people have bought.
Not for me,
so-
baby.
Crazy.
It has an
but I-
attach rate of like 1.2.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, there's more copies than there are systems
Yeah.
to play it.
That's pretty funny actually. But yeah, so I will for sure buy Mario Kart World though. This looks great.
I mean, you're probably gonna get the bundle.
Yes.
So, Also-
because I'm not paying $80 for a base game.
Seemingly, every single character in every single like individual creature in a 3D Mario game is is a playable character.
Yeah.
Well, they kind of have to do that because there's 24.
Yeah, but it's insane.
This is the
It's
Smash
just
Bros.
like-
Ultimate of Mario
It's
Kart.
just like random enemies that are in one stage in Odyssey are playable racers in this. It's absolute madness. Except Lakitu, apparently. Because he mans the
He mans the flag.
so he's not allowed to race.
so sad.
I wonder if Monty Mole's in here.
Yeah.
He did. He
I
was.
think so.
Heck yeah.
But yes, the most important is Cow.
Yeah.
I
Love
think
Cow.
it has a name. It's like Moo Moo, I guess.
Yeah.
From Moo Moo Meadows.
Moo Moo
I
of
wanna
the
know-
Meadows?
Yeah.
I still hate the motorcycles are in this. I wish the motorcycles were gone.
Yeah.
That's
But I guess
for-
if there's a bunch of other vehicles.
Yeah, I guess. I like the costume changes.
Yeah. Oh, I like those costume changes
yeah,
a
that's
lot.
Cool. And it seems like there are items for it in courses. For
Yeah,
you to just
which I-
change costume.
Which makes me wonder, like, is it solely a cosmetic thing, or will it be a functional mechanical
knows?
thing?
Both. Both of them.
Fair.
Maybe it probably changes your car too.
Yeah.
Oh, man. It's going to be a good game.
Yeah,
It's
Yeah.
going to be a good
cool.
game.
It looks cool.
Weather changes, off-roading, blah, blah, blah. It's going to be cool. Love that there's going to be weather in a Mario Kart game. That's going to be fun.
Yeah, it's too bad. We have Sonic Cross Worlds racing right around the corner, and it looks
That
to
still
be
hasn't come out yet.
it looks to be cool, but
It's going to be
once
more
again
of a
gonna get-
traditional kart experience.
But it's also once again going to get buried by Mario Kart.
Yeah, for sure. But I think that those games are very solid in their fundamentals. And so, like, it's still going to be a good game.
But that game, yeah, and that game does have the Babylon Rogues from Sonic Riders, so
That's true.
I want some Jet the Hawk action.
Yes, sir.
Finally, Nintendo has game chat.
Yes,
Nintendo
this is
Switch 2 has game chat.
This is the big reveal of the C button is a built-in chat function.
Yeah.
Video chat, would you believe?
If you have the
If
Nintendo
you have
camera.
the Nintendo Switch Connect camera. But yeah, it just like basically Zoom or Teams or Discord style just pops up little it makes your screen a bit smaller and then
So you can see
and then
everybody else's
shows
super
how-
so
small
it shows
screens.
everyone else's screen.
How many times have I said, make my screen smaller so I can see other things
There
happening?
you go. It's happening.
Nintendo
They listen to you.
is doing an Xbox One. That's what they're doing.
so true.
And
You know,
I love
actually,
it.
when I was watching this presentation earlier today, I saw a little thing at the bottom of the screen that said, "Thank you for the idea, David."
Next, they're going to do
Weirdly,
one
it was
versus,
someone name.
They're going to do 1 versus 100 on this thing. It's
Oh
going to
my
be great.
god! Oh my god! Oh my god! I would lose my mind.
Yeah, and this is. I don't think this is what I expected the C button to be. But
No.
I
I thought it was gonna be like capture.
yeah.
You know.
Well, they already have a button for that.
Yeah, this is true. This is true. I thought it was just gonna be a more
A
substantial.
lot of people were thinking maybe it was like a social networking type of deal, like a Miiverse type thing. But yeah, it's like a fully integrated game chat with microphone. There's a microphone built in
to the console.
To the
That says
console
they say they have built-in
with
noise
like
compression.
incredible noise compression and
We'll
noise
see.
canceling.
and
We'll see.
filtering.
I was reading the interview with the developers. They say that it can drown out the sound of someone vacuuming in the same room.
How long until a kid accidentally sees something inappropriate? through,
Well, it does
through
seem
the
that-
Nintendo
Nintendo
Switch
camera.
camera.
It does seem like you have to be friends with the people. So I think they haven't thus far indicated that you'll be able to do it with random people.
Sure,
Let's hope not.
but I mean, like, you know, you're.
It could be as toxic as a Call of Duty lobby. Out there.
Yeah, let's say I don't know. You're playing online with. Let's say we're all teenagers again. You're playing online with your friends. One of their parents starts just going off in the background. You know.
But because of
Or,
the
like-
incredible noise cancellation, you won't be able to maybe hear
Yeah,
them.
but if
You may
if,
see
if you're inputting video chat into, say, Microsoft has promised Call of Duty is coming to this thing, the amount of balls I would see through a video camera.
But again, you have to
Even
you
of
have
my
to-
own friends.
They,
Yeah.
they would have to be your friends, and I think
I'm
at
saying-
that point,
He's saying
you know,
he will be that friend.
I won't.
you
Maybe.
are. I
Hard to
think
say.
if you're going into that, you got to know that that's just part of it.
That's
You're
just-
playing Call of Duty with a bunch of
That's your
a bunch of your
consent.
friends.
Yeah.
That's your consent at that time.
You're gonna see bad things. You're gonna see
Yeah.
and hear bad things.
That's fair. They're bringing back game share.
Yes,
That's
this was the
cool.
big thing. Had me grinning that they have sort of brought back
Figured
DS download play.
Yeah.
and that for certain games you will be able to share it with your friends locally, and I'll be able to play off of one game cartridge. Apparently, in some instances, you'll even be able to do it online through the game chat. And also, you'll be able to do it to Switch Ones.
Yeah. As long as it's a console with Joy-Cons, it said.
God bless.
Which is
So
Crazy.
that
Crazy
could potentially
stuff.
apply
That's not-
to non-Nintendo systems then, ones that have, their rip-off Joy-Con
No.
detachable controllers.
no, because I don't think those can be called Joy-Cons.
What do you guys
no.
think of the game you're going to have to pay for to play called Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome to It?
If that thing is more than $10,
So,
it is
here's
a
the
crime.
thing. I was thinking about this, and I was like, at first it's like, oh, they made a new Nintendo Land. And then when they said you had to pay for it, I was like, that's so stupid. It was packed in. And then you're like, well, wait a minute. Actually, you did have to buy Nintendo Land
Yeah.
if it wasn't included, if you didn't have, like, an original Wii U.
Yeah.
So they have done this before. It doesn't make it good. And I don't even imagine this will offer as much gameplay as Nintendo Land.
No way.
It looks too technical
It's ridiculous.
to be gameplay.
Yeah, it's
you know?
ridiculous that this isn't packed in.
I agree.
This should be installed on everything. This should be like Metroid Prime First Hunt.
Yeah.
It's like you pop it in. This is what the Switch 2 can do.
Yep.
Or, hey, play this while everything else downloads. I don't know.
They're adding Kinect games to Mario Party Jamboree.
Yeah, this
Microphone
is, well,
mini games are back, and I'm gonna break a
yes,
TV.
So there was a. They talked about how there will be 3 types of games you can play on the Switch 2.
yes,
One
yes.
is Switch 2 exclusive, naturally. One of them is Switch 1 games, for the most part.
Almost all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's like a 100 or so that are TBD at this point.
I looked at the list. It's very weird titles for the most part.
There aren't a bunch of. I think I did have. I had one that was on the some compatibility issues, like will launch but has some issues.
One of them is Rocket League. You know they're going to patch that.
Yeah.
They're going to fix it.
Well, yeah, for all but one of the games on the list, they say that they are investigating how to fix those, and the one that is not there's no investigation is Fortnite, and that is because they also announced that Epic is making a dedicated Switch 2 version. of it.
Holy crap, Fortnite 2 is going to be on the... Wait, hold on. I've already messed this up. Never mind.
Yeah, you did it.
Dang.
Fortnite 2 on the Switch 1.
Yes.
But the third type of game is Switch 1 titles with Switch 2 enhancements. And one of the first ones they showed is Mario Party Jamboree, which is getting a new mode called TV mode or something like that.
Bowser Live.
But yeah, they are essentially have added Kinect games where you control the game with your body. I think they showed some that use mouse controls. By the way, there's a mouse.
The Joy-Cons
Joy-Con
are mice.
Officially
Have mouse
is a mouse.
functionality, which is going to be great for Metroid Prime.
Yes.
They showed that too.
Interestingly, on the
We'll get there.
the one game that everyone was like, "Oh, this won't run on Switch 2" is Labo, and it does everything but the VR one where you had to stick the physical Switch into that headset. Runs. You just have to have the original Joy-Cons,
Yeah.
I see.
which is funny. It's just I think it's funny that everyone when they said when they first revealed it, they were like, all but select few Switch games are going to be able to play. Everyone immediately jumped to
Labo.
well,
It's
yeah, the
gone.
ones that we can't use the original Joy-Cons on. And no, it's actually just a bunch of random titles that are having weird
wonder-
software
I
compatibility
wonder if
problems.
I can connect my Nintendo Switch Pro controller to this thing.
You can.
I was thinking about that earlier today too.
Oh, then I don't need to buy a bunch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it,
I don't need the
all,
C button.
all of the controllers
I need the headphone jack.
that work on Switch work on, like the original Joy-Cons work on it. You just can't connect them physically to the system.
Okay.
Amazing.
Yep.
I don't care about that part because I'll just.
Yeah.
But I care
It
about.
comes with Joy-Cons.
I have very nice Pro controllers.
Yeah.
Okay,
This is true.
I buy the
It would
special
be
ones.
it'd be a shame if they were not compatible.
Yeah.
I mean, I would profit because
is
they're
true.
worth money.
Yeah, but they're
Because-
so cool.
But I've used them and they have marks, and so they wouldn't get as much. Zelda games look beautiful.
Oh, running at
Yes.
My God.
high frame
They
rates.
showed the new Zelda, which had the obvious visual upgrades.
I'm going to replay these games.
Being
It's-
able to play
it's
them.
going to happen.
Yeah.
But also the crazy thing is that the Switch 2 upgrade allows you to connect to it with
GPS.
your phone and have a
Smart
GPS
smart glass
on your phone.
your second screen experience.
It's
We're
like
here.
what the heck?
We've done it.
I love this
This
dance
is
you're
the
doing.
most random.
It makes me so
This
happy.
is so
Yeah.
wild.
Do you know how much I loved the smart glass experience? I loved the idiotic second screen experience, and I'm here for it.
I joked
love
about
a
it in the
gimmick.
Discord. I
You
said,
did.
I'm calling it. The second screen is going to be your cell phone, even though I didn't believe it, and it turned out to be true for the Zelda games.
Yeah.
I don't. I don't remember when they talked about it, but
We're gonna skip the wheelchair
We're gonna
game.
skip
no, I
everything.
don't want to skip anything. I just want to talk about they did like the rundown of like the specs, and it's insane. Like first of all, the LED screen.
I thought it was
The-
LCD.
The LCD screen
Okay.
has
Sorry, unfortunately,
native
there is a
HDR in handheld mode on
Yeah.
the screen.
Yeah.
And it's got twice the pixel density. It's like running 4K on the screen on the Switch.
Yeah,
I thought it was
it's got-
4K docked, and then 1080.
I'm not sure.
with some HDR.
Well, I know it said.
capability.
I mean, it might have been when it was stocked, but I know they said that like there are multiple. There's like a 120 FPS,
Yeah, so-
1080p version, but
Yes,
then there's
so-
also a 4K 60 FPS.
Yes, which
version.
is insane to me.
Yeah,
because that
like,
means
that's-
that little screen has a 120 hertz monitor.
Yes.
Like I like
Sicko
this
mode.
is where I started
Yeah.
going, holy crap,
Yeah,
this console is
like,
something.
I don't. None of the leaks really. Like we all thought about. We knew about the DLSR, the upscaling, and I don't. I obviously they haven't said anything about that's actually what is happening here to make it output in 4K. But the fact that it's got like 120 FPS native on the
Yeah.
system.
Bonkers.
And it's doing all this other stuff. It's got HDR built in.
it's got it's 1920 by 1080 pixels, so it's 1080p.
Yep.
HDR10 support with variable refresh rate up to 120.
It's
I'm going to be
crazy.
able to play 120 frames per second Rocket League on this thing.
This is
On
true. Smash
handheld.
Bros.
On my handheld.
Freaking
Like
wild, man.
Metroid Prime 4 is going to be the real seller for me on this. Between the 120 FPS and 4K docked, and also the mouse control,
Yeah.
that game is going to be insane.
What also amazes me, really, is that the dock, when you are connected, you're gonna be able to do 4K resolution at 60 frames per second, but it also will support 120 frames at lower resolutions.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which is crazy because even the PlayStation has a hard time with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's wild. Also, the
have
dock has a fan.
Yes.
I mean,
because-
that makes sense.
Oh boy, the
If it's-
performance on that thing is going to be.
If it's gonna be pushing
space
4K,
heater.
like
Yeah, I know.
and that
I
small
know,
of a thing.
I know a lot of things that there was a lot of speculation that the dock was going to have like an extra
Yeah,
processor to beef up the power, but it just seems like the only reason you have to be docked for that stuff is to have the fan to enable the active cooling.
Yeah.
So you're not cooking your Switch.
Yeah. Man.
It is more power and more. It's more impressive what they packed into it than anything that I was expecting.
yeah.
Like I was expecting it to be sort of, it's going to be 4K, but there are obvious corners cut.
Yeah, like massive concessions to be made here.
Oh snap! The
But yeah,
vibration description for the Joy-Cons is HD Rumble 2.
Yeah, they say it's even better. It's got better motors, and they're more powerful. They spin faster, which is cool.
Always a good thing.
Let's see if I still don't know. Look, I still don't know how Sony or whoever, how Housemarque in Returnal was able to simulate the raindrops on the PS5 controller.
Yeah.
That blew my mind.
Yeah.
We'll see if the HD Rumble 2 can do that here. I'm sure it could. It was the original HD Rumble blew my mind.
It was yeah. Man.
Battery life apparently is worse than the current model.
Oh yeah,
I'm
it's
not
gonna
shocked.
But actually, the battery is 1.2 times the capacity of the current Switch
Yeah.
OLED battery. It just takes so much more power to do all the stuff.
be. It's gonna be
Which
2
is
to
why.
6 hours, which
Depending on what
Yeah.
you're playing.
I
So,
mean,
like,
what
if
the
you're-
original was like.
Yeah.
So like,
And I
if
never
you're
really had a
playing-
problem
If
with
you're
it.
playing a more demanding game at 120 FPS, obviously your battery is going to tank much quicker.
and you can
unless if
just
you're
plug
playing,
in
like, a
both USB-C ports if
Yes.
you want double the power.
Double power.
Honestly,
I don't
No.
think.
oh my
don't
god,
think
would
I
that
didn't
would be
think
allowed.
about that.
They would not allow
not
that.
gonna-
I'm gonna give it a shot one day. But yeah,
one day.
they have the.
What if you plug it into itself?
Robert
What
Ross.
if what if on the dock you plug it in on the top end?
It's
of the
unlimited power.
Yeah, it's free energy.
The
Which
power just
Nintendo has created, and there's magnets in there, so you know they got to be doing something.
How do they work?
They got to be doing something.
But yeah, so
I wasn't expecting the magnets. We saw originally that it was the Joy-Cons were going to be magnetic instead of rail. I didn't expect that they just straight up clipped on basically to the L and R buttons on the Joy-Cons.
Yeah.
I think that was a really cool design choice.
it's very smart design.
The L and Rs are just steel plates,
Yeah.
essentially.
Which they've also made bigger
Yeah.
compared to the previous set of Joy-Cons.
But yeah, enough gushing about the specs of this thing. But it does, it does seem really impressive. It's kind of annoying that the SD card that I have will just not work at all.
Yeah.
Although apparently you can plug it in and move screenshots over if you want to do that. But you got to get a new SD card.
Yeah. Which
Can-
is expensive
the-
because it's
yeah.
a special kind of SD
Yep.
card.
Although the base storage
Are
is
belong to
four
us.
times as big as it was in the original Switch.
Can I mention, since we're getting there, the last thing I expected to get announced was a new Hyrule Warriors
Okay,
game.
so
Yeah.
we were talking about Zelda. This
The last thing
like
I
blew
expected.
my mind.
Yeah. So this is the
I-
thing that when I tuned into the direct today, this is what was on, and I was like, "Oh!"
I thought it was going
Like
to
while I
be
was driving.
a DLC for the latest
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
I'm glad it wasn't.
I'm glad it wasn't
I
too.
think the thing that I have come to appreciate most about the Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom duology is that they have just decided
Technically
any
a quadrilogy. now.
any little bit of backstory that is left unplumbed, we'll just make a Hyrule Warriors to talk about it.
Yeah.
Though I think this is probably cooler than Age of Calamity because Age of Calamity was a weird sort of alternate timeline.
yeah, this
Shenanigans.
is sort
That
of
was awesome. This seems to be what
is
is
very
actually
directly-
happening to Zelda when she went back into the past.
Yeah.
which I'm so because the cutscenes that were in Tears of the Kingdom were even cool.
Yeah.
So to replay those,
Yeah. Oh, but we will have to see that horrible Ganondorf laugh smile again.
yeah. But when what's his name did the cool
Yeah,
special beam
yeah.
cannon,
It's gonna be awesome.
yeah, that made me happy.
Who do you think of the characters are gonna be in it?
Oh,
I mean, obviously we got Zelda, we got the We got the whatever his face is, and
Yeah.
the Queen Sonya.
I love how we can
and
remember
what's her
her
face
name.
with the robot.
Yeah, there's
all the other characters
I
are
just
just going
wonder
to
who
be
else is going to be in it.
the nameless warriors
Yeah,
that
I guess,
join them.
but
So hopefully they'll get names
yeah,
and personalities.
yeah, and interesting designs.
Yeah.
But they also throw in random characters out of nowhere that I don't know. These are great
Skull
games.
Kid.
I'm
Skull
very
Kid's
excited.
gonna be in
Oh
it.
my god.
That's my
Yeah. They
Skull Kid.
They name dropped the imprisoning war in this, and I actively started going, no freaking way. Like, this is what we're doing? Holy crap.
I think
so I'm
Age of
pretty-
Imprisonment is a bit of a mouthful, but I understand why that is the name they
Yeah.
selected here.
Yeah, they've got themselves a naming convention now.
But yeah, this is very dope. I was not expecting this, and I'm very excited for it.
Same.
Yes, sirs.
Uh,
We got a bunch of
Is
other...
this a Switch 2 exclusive?
Yep.
Yeah, I think so. And then we got a bunch of other third-party announcements. Elden Ring,
Yeah,
Yakuza Zero is getting a
a
director's cut.
big
Silk
third
Song?
party showcase.
Yes, so that's what I was about to get
Silk
to.
Song was
Y-
there?
Yeah,
Your
that
son
was very
finally
cool.
exists
That
again.
was very
2025. That sucker is coming out at the Xbox showcase. I believe it
Yeah.
because Xbox reiterated today again. They reiterated that it is coming day one on Game Pass. Why would you go out of your way to reiterate that? I'm just saying. I see the lines. I'm drawing.
You've read them. You've read between them.
Yes, you've
They
consulted.
should-
You've consulted
before,
the bones.
Before this, they also Super Giant showed off Hades 2.
yeah,
Yes.
that was
coming.
cool.
Oh my God.
That's like that's the only console confirmation that we've got for Hades 2.
Yeah.
It's going to
This
be
is
on
true.
Switch 1 and Switch 2.
Interesting.
I will be
So-
getting it on Switch too.
Hopefully, it drops the same day as 1.0 does on Hades 2, whenever that is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it'd be nice.
Yeah.
I think they said it would.
Yeah. And I have to think that given the
That game is so massive already based on every podcast I've listened to.
I think that given I guess there were some they did have Randy Pitchford who talked about
Ugh,
Borderlands 4
The Randy
which
Pitchford jump scare.
which is next year, right?
No, Borderlands 4 is this year.
Okay, so so everything they showed in this partner stuff was
For the
this
most part, is
year.
this year.
So it
there
does
was
make
some
me
stuff
think
that was next year.
that Hades probably before the end of the year comes
Because
out.
the Dusk's Bloods is next year.
Yeah.
Yes, that was a new reveal. So I think all the stuff that they showed that we knew about
Was Elden Ring this year or next year? It didn't have a date.
say.
Yeah.
Not that
It's
I
gonna
remember.
be-
I can't imagine that
It's going to be 2 years from now. That's
No
the
way.
that's the Skyrim of this direct.
Absolutely not.
You
That's
heard
the
it here
Sky-
first, fellas.
2027.
Elden Ring is releasing in
Absolutely not.
2027.
Absolutely not.
Skyrim did it when they were in the original Switch announcement.
Okay, but Skyrim had existed for like 10 years when the original Switch, or more.
No?
Yeah.
Yeah?
He's not wrong. But yeah, we'll see. It's fine. GameCube games.
I won't fight it.
Okay,
Pokemon.
I think we're going a bit fast here because first of all, FromSoft, Miyazaki directed
We're skipping to the end here is what we're doing.
No, you're
Nin-
skipping it.
Nintendo Switch 2 exclusive
Exclusive.
game.
You're skipping
From
the GameCube.
Hidetaka Miyazaki.
No, you just skipped past the Duskbloods, and I wanted to go back and highlight the absolute insanity of a FromSoft.
Switch 2
We're
exclusive.
gonna
Miyazaki-
get to the
Miyazaki
Duskbloods.
directed.
But you just said the Duskbloods
Yeah,
and
so
then
now we've
moved
gotta-
past it.
So
Yeah,
we've
I-
got to hit
I
it
know that
now.
you're not excited for it because it's a multiplayer game in whatever form that it's going to take.
I'm excited for it more knowing that it's a Miyazaki-led game.
Yeah. Will you be more likely to play this over Elden Ring Night Rain?
I will not play Elden Ring Night Rain,
Okay.
but I will give this a shot because it looks like Bloodborne.
Yeah, it looks
Yeah.
like Bloodborne, but also seems to take place in actual London.
Yeah. It
Very
also
confusing.
looks
and there's vampires
like Lies
and a
of P.
man who
Yes.
turns into a T-Rex.
Yes.
I was
this
interested
game
in
looks
T-Rex
great.
Man. I also was interested in arms to the side fly into the sky with a jetpack man.
Yeah, big with the big robot suit.
Yep.
This game's gonna be
Steampunk robot.
crazy.
I have no idea what the game is,
I-
but it looks crazy.
So there was one of the shots near the beginning of the trailer for Duskbloods that made me go like, oh, are they getting some weird Armored Core game on here? Even though the opening like scene of the trailer made me think, holy crap, we're getting Bloodborne 2.
Yeah,
And
my
so like
first thought
I was just getting whipped around.
My first thought was Bloodborne 2 on the Switch. This is a crazy place to announce it. And then it was when I was like, no, this can't be real. This must just be Bloodborne 1.
Yeah.
Even though it didn't really look like
No.
it.
But they
yeah.
did mention blood
Yeah,
in that
and
first
then,
scene.
You know, and then they pulled us in with the Duskbloods.
Yeah.
Everything about this trailer is absolute insanity. It did also look like Lies of P.
Which
but
is the
there's,
proper
there's a
sequel to
shared
Bloodborne.
DNA there.
Yeah.
I thought so. There's been a lot of rumors that there's a new Castlevania game coming in some form. I thought this was Castlevania, at
That
first,
would have been awesome.
but then it wasn't.
Yeah.
I'm
I
not mad
had
about
that
it.
slight thought too, for the quickest of seconds, and then they said blood, and I went Bloodborne, so it completely left my mind.
Yes, I just think it is sort of a monumental occasion that this game from this developer is an exclusive on this platform.
Yeah,
Like
no, it's
considering,
huge.
I mean, there was a ton of support on Switch 1, but there were not games like this, even multi-plat games,
Yeah,
much less exclusive games from one of the
top
biggest
developers in
developer
the industry.
in the industry. Very cool. But yes, David, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to skip it, even though you skipped it. But let's go back because I was watching this at work. I was walking to the break room so I could get some more water, and they showed this.
And then you did a
And
spit
I
take.
yelled
So you had to
and
get
jumped
more
in the
water.
air when they showed this. Yeah, pretty much. Nintendo GameCube, long rumored to maybe one day come to Switch as part of the Nintendo Switch Online, is here. It's going to be exclusive to Switch 2.
I think it still could very well have been on Switch 1, but
Yeah.
Nintendo are cowards.
It is launching with Wind Waker. It was a good choice.
Here's the list.
Launching. Well, I'm just going to say that the three things that they showed was Wind Waker, Soul Calibur 2, which is
Baby.
also dope. I played so much of that game
Yeah.
on Switch. Maybe the only fighting game I've ever unconditionally liked. And
man, my
F-Zero
goat.
GX. Just insane. Another game that everyone for so long has been like, put this game on a modern console. And here it is.
God bless.
And really, it never needed to be ported because I'm sure the graphics still will probably look like they exist on a modern
yeah.
platform.
Well, that game also ran at 60 back
that
then,
game
I'm pretty sure.
was insane looking.
Yeah.
And now it's back.
Mario Sunshine.
The hardest game ever.
We've got
game
Mario
is so hard.
Sunshine,
Interesting.
Luigi's Mansion,
Yes.
Fire Emblem Path of Radiance,
Thank God. I saw this in the
Yes,
thing
yes.
earlier.
Pokemon XD Gale of
That's
Darkness,
wild.
a
That's
game I
wild.
never got to
I never
play,
played
Oh.
that either.
Mario Strikers,
That's
Chibi
good.
Robo,
Very nice.
and Pokemon Coliseum.
Robo is nice. That was a very... So, the downside of this is it's also going to be absolutely maddening as the weeks go by and, like, put this game on it, and they don't do it.
Yeah. Put Kirby Air Ride on it. Put a million different things.
There's Eternal Darkness. I gotta hope they
Eternal-
put Eternal
yeah.
Darkness on here.
Resident
In
Evil
re-
4.
In relation to the third party section, Cyberpunk 2077 is coming on one game card, and it's the 64 gigabyte game card that we all know exists, but no developer ever uses.
Yep.
And so they're going to be the only game so far that has used the weirder, higher capacity.
Well, all of the game cards now are gonna have higher capacity.
Right, but
For
now,
the
like,
Switch 2 ones. The red ones.
Yeah.
yeah. But it's still going to have the higher, yeah.
I would like them to also put Cubivore on this. I doubt they will, but that's another game that had
I don't for the people.
a very, very limited sales numbers.
I know. There's
and
a
is,
couple.
It is a cult classic, but it is a game you absolutely cannot buy.
I would feel bad because there's actually podcasts I listened to where a couple of them finally got a decently priced copy of Cubivore, and you know if it,
it would be
price,
hilarious.
the price is going to tank on it.
Another one of those, a game that I owned, which I don't know whatever happened to it, Gotcha Force, which is like this arena robot battler, which was really fun. It had a gotcha mechanic, as you could tell from the name. But it also costs like, if you want a copy, it's like $2,000 or something.
Ugh.
I want Microsoft.
But also, put Custom Robo. I want that. That's
Custom. Oh my
Yeah.
god.
so good on the GameCube.
Dude.
Put NFL Street 2 on the.
That might be a bit harder, I think.
Well, yeah,
with
but I want it.
licensing.
I just want to say that this is all amazing.
Star Fox Adventures.
Okay,
Dinosaur
Star
Planet.
Fox.
Adventures.
Star Fox Assault.
Yeah.
Smash Bros. Melee.
No,
Oh,
that will
that's
never
interesting.
happen.
I think that would be a dedicated release, but I also don't know that they would ever do it.
Yeah. It's absolutely nuts. All of this is nuts with the GameCube.
Yes, the GameCube stuff. I could not believe it. I could believe it, but I was also so surprised to see it, and it made me very happy because I love the GameCube. Oh, I love it, and I'm glad they're putting Luigi's Mansion on there, because, it was the only one that wasn't playable on the Switch.
Yeah.
2, 3, and 4. Wait, there's no 4. 2 and 3, both available on the Switch.
Kirby Air Riders.
Yes, this was wild.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was going to be a Smash announcement for a second.
Well, I didn't. I thought
No, I saw that
I
star
thought
and I
at
knew
first-
immediately.
it was going to be Planet Robobot, because there had been rumors that they were going to move that over, and I never played it, so I don't know what any of like the in-game cutscenes were like in that.
Yeah.
And the trailer had Kirby falling, the star. What is this star called? It's got a specific
the
name.
Kirby
Warp
Star.
Star.
The warp star was not working, and he was hitting it trying to make it come on, and then it finally did, and then an engine comes out of it, and I was like, "There's no way."
That is
There's
when I
absolute way
knew.
here. And then it's Kirby Air Riders.
This is the game that Sakurai has secretly been working
Yes,
on.
developed by Masahiro
God
Sakurai, which
bless.
is
Yeah.
it's awesome.
It's crazy. We're getting a new Sakurai game. We're getting, again, I want to reiterate because we did it 3 other times, a Switch 2 exclusive Miyazaki from Software game. We are getting the top
Yes.
developers here.
The only
Final Fantasy
unfortunate
VII
thing,
Remake.
the only
Fantasy VII
unfortunate thing
Remake.
about this is that it means he was not working on Kid Icarus.
This is true.
But anyone else could
That'll
be
be the
doing
next game. It's got to be the next game, Seth. It's got to be the next game.
that. Also, they revealed that Kirby and the Forgotten Land is getting a Switch 2 upgrade
And
with
an
an
expansion.
entirely new expansion.
There's a couple games where they're getting like an expansion.
And
I'm so
it
stoked. for
really
that.
makes me sad that my nephew lost my copy that I lent to him.
Hey, guess what? I bought it digitally.
Nice, there we
And
go.
so
I can-
digital card.
I bought it physically.
Nice physical digital card.
So you have pick of the litter
We
here.
love it. That is a good game. And
It's
a
it was,
great game.
It was
Yeah.
surprising to see that included. What were the other ones? There was a couple other ones. One of the ones they did not announce but is on the website is Xenoblade Chronicles X.
Yes,
Yeah.
I
Well,
saw
that got kind of leaked, or like people found it in the files.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do remember that. There's a thing
There's
about
the
like
people
a
found
higher
a
frame
60
rate
frames
version.
per second mode that
that
breaks
was
if you try to
locked.
run it on the Switch.
Yes, but hopefully, so yeah, that does give me more incentive to not play it until June.
I want to note that I am disappointed a little
Okay.
that the
Oh, you're
OS
continuing.
the OS isn't
Yeah, it looks the
exactly
same. It
the
looks
same,
exactly
just
the
with
same.
rounded edges.
But look, I think it's actually fine.
I think it is
if-
too.
The shop looks different. We haven't seen what the eShop looks like.
I just need music.
I just need the
And
eShop
themes.
to not take a million years to load any page, and also make it easier to find stuff on.
Nintendo
Make it
having
easier
good
to discover stuff
yeah.
on.
Nintendo having good online infrastructure. Good luck, buddy.
But look, they have to, because so much of
they don't
this
have
was
to.
about the chat function and streaming video onto
Yeah.
your console while
Listen,
you
buddy,
are playing games.
it's not going to work well, and I'm calling it out. Oh, Street Fighter 6 is also going to be on the
Yeah.
Switch too.
Yeah, but that doesn't matter if Soul Calibur 2 is going to be on it. Sorry.
This is true.
I don't know what
you
to
are,
tell you.
You are so right. It's just
They should get Microsoft and Sony to play nice and put Master Chief and Spawn.
Yeah.
But there was no version of that game that had all of them.
I
So I
know.
don't know how they
So
could
make
actually
it.
do that.
Just
Well, it's
patch
the
it.
same files.
Patch it.
Like
I don't think it is because it
Patch
was designed to work on 3 different consoles.
sure, but there had to be like I don't know how to explain this.
I don't know.
Do you
But, like,
think the
They would. I feel like they would have to build those characters for the GameCube version, which I don't think they did.
possible?
And I think that's the problem.
Do you think because the Switch 2 carts are red, they will be spicy?
I don't know. I hope so.
Mm,
Did you know though
yes.
that on some of the boxes, the Street Fighter made me think of it because this is one of them. It comes with a game card key,
Yeah.
which is essentially
Just
you
a-
plug it in and then it will download the game onto your hard drive. So instead of just a digital code, you're getting a physical key that has to be in your game to be able to play it on your console. Which is
that-
weird, but I
that's
guess
Buy it digitally.
it does
at that
allow you
point.
to still share it.
Yeah. So it's essentially just how Xbox especially is very bad at this with their physical discs for their
Yeah.
games,
Or
where
it
basically
just- it
the
doesn't have
game
the whole
is
game on it,
yeah,
yeah.
where sometimes not even half the game is on that disc, and you have to download the rest, so the disc just becomes a key for you to play the game.
Yeah,
This
which
is basically
annoying.
that. Yeah.
Especially given that there are larger
Capacity.
capacity,
cards.
but maybe like I imagine Street Fighter 6 is a massive game. So
Why
Yeah, especially with all its updates continuously.
do you think there's special items that are going to be in the tarnished edition that will make you look like Mario, like there are in the Hitman version, that make you look
I
like
can
Mario and Luigi?
only hope. It doesn't seem like a thing FromSoft wouldn't do.
It says tarnished edition. Street Fighter is just a Street Fighter 6.
No,
Yeah.
there's a
Year
there's
one
a
and
year
two
1 and 2
edition.
edition as well.
Yeah.
Um,
I didn't realize the Elden Ring one was tarnished
Yeah, I didn't
edition.
either.
That's
Yeah.
very curious then.
It's like that armored edition of the Batman game.
Yeah. You play as an even more,
More
downtrodden
armored
and
Batman.
destitute tarnished character.
you start
Something
instead of
below
starting
wretched.
nude, you start in a plumber's outfit and have a plunger.
Yeah.
I like it.
And you can choose between red or green shirts, but you're still wearing the plumber overalls.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now let's talk about the final thing.
Was there anything else that we didn't talk about?
We didn't talk about Metroid Prime 4. That game looks
Yes.
great.
Very-
It looks great.
It's
We
hard
saw
to
a
say
lot of
more.
it.
Yeah, we saw a lot of it.
It's very-
Unfortunately, the box art for the Switch 2 version is horrendous.
Yeah.
Oh, I did.
You can
Just
use it.
because
I don't
of-
remember that.
Well, no, the box of Metroid Prime for Switch is great. It's got the whole image, but the Switch 2 version has this huge red bar on the top, cutting off top of the image, and then this huge text box on the bottom.
Oh, good lord.
Yeah, it's
Um,
hideous. I
How do
guess
we
you
feel
could just
that
buy
it's going to be 120 frames in 720p? Metroid
Or
Prime.
10.
Well, I'm just complaining about the way the box looks.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm
like
saying
this. This is
yeah,
atrocious.
that looks bad, but it's fine.
I mean, maybe you just buy the Switch
think?
1 version.
I think that's
Because
what I'm going to do.
if you have Switch Online, at least some of the Switch 2 upgrades are going to be given to you for free.
Mm-hmm.
I know that the two Zelda ones are. So I don't know. But yes, there was one final reveal here.
The other thing that I thought we should mention real quick. Sorry, where was it? Hold on. Someone mentioned it. We all got to know and be excited that Bravely Default is getting an HD version.
This was so weird. When this trailer first started, I was like, "Is this Final Fantasy 9?"
I thought so too, and then
it's
very
like, oh,
quickly I was like,
it's
"Oh, this
Bravely
is
Default, the first one that they are remastering for some reason."
What type of game is Air Riders? I'm not trying to be everywhere.
Well,
is it a racing
it
game?
is a racing game, and also it has the thing everyone loved about it was the weird open world mode,
Okay.
City Trial, that was sort of replicated in a way in the Smash Run in the 3DS Smash game. It was the same like ideas were used there. So I imagine there's going to be a much bigger City Trial here. But yeah, it was a racing game.
And then Pokemon ZA.
Yep.
The
Yeah,
performance
that's-
on that looks so much better.
Yes.
You can even with the Metroid Prime screenshots, you can like zoom in and there is like
Full detail on that thing.
definitive extra detail. Like I remember seeing the two images just on my phone screen. I'm like, well, this can't be that much better. And then when you zoom in, everything is so much clearer, which it's wild. They really went all out on this thing.
Yeah.
All right. So the final
The
thing
final reveal.
is what the 3D Mario team has been working on.
Oh, that's who it is?
Yeah.
Nice.
Wow, my joke earlier was very accurate. Then.
It is, of course. Well, we saw this weird. I first for sure thought it was Mario at first because of the visual look of it.
Yeah.
And we close in on this like mining colony, and no, it's not Mario. It is someone in overalls, weirdly enough. But it is our boy, the first member
Roy?
of the DK crew.
Oh.
DK, Donkey Kong himself. Donkey Kong is here.
Yeah, I was going to say
Yes.
Donkey Kong is here. Yes.
Donkey Kong Bonanza.
Donkey Kong Minecraft?
There does seem to be.
Donkey Kong Odyssey.
It is sort of Donkey Kong Odyssey, except for that you can just punch and destroy
During-
anything.
yeah.
In the whole game.
I
it
was trying to
seems like.
think. It was reminding me of another game, specifically in how like the ground would break
Yeah,
itself
you're
apart.
thinking of Red Faction Gorilla.
I don't maybe, but I
Which-
think
I think you're
I'm
thinking of No
something
Man's
else.
Sky.
Maybe
Both.
Because
really.
it does have it does the ground and that does sort of like
break apart
break
in a similar
apart
way.
in a very similar way.
Yeah,
Um,
it looks so fun.
though in
though.
that game
Yeah.
you don't punch the ground.
Yeah,
you use a
you-
laser.
Yeah, but Donkey
play-
Kong is just
It just blasts.
You use a
He's-
big hammer in
He's
Red
got a little.
Faction
He's
Gorilla.
got a little
This is
rock friend.
Yeah, it's hanging out
this,
with him.
there seems to be something about this is mining gold and getting rich. It seems to be
a typical
and
Donkey
you make
Kong
giant
behavior.
golden bananas that, you know.
He punches into the ground and goes sideways.
Yeah, I
becomes-
loved that.
it
became
becomes
a
side-scrolling.
2D.
Yeah, that was
underground.
cool. That was very cool. You know, I've always wondered. I haven't always wondered, but in this moment, I just wondered. You know, Donkey
Well,
Kong
this moment is
64,
forever.
You're going to obviously he always loses his banana hoard, and he has to get them back. He's got to get back these giant golden bananas. Does he eat them,
Not the gold ones.
or does he just hoard them?
Bananas go bad.
There are bananas,
But it's
that
a
are
gold-plated,
and in
then,
this one they
you know.
do seem to be physically made of the gold he's collecting.
Yeah.
And he does go bananas for those bananas. There is something uncanny to me about how it looks because it visually looks so close to Mario Odyssey.
Yeah.
And
They've also
the new
redesigned-
Donkey Kong design, which was
Yeah.
first shown in the original teaser for the new Mario Kart game.
Yeah. I really like this design a lot.
It
now
is-
that I'm seeing it.
It's weird. It's a good, very colorful, very expressive design.
It's extremely expressive.
And I
I
like
s-
this new Donkey Kong render. A lot of people don't, but I do.
I mean, I like it.
do.
It does. It looks too much to me like Donkey Kong Jr. And every time I look at it, I can't get out of my head that it's Donkey Kong Jr. Just because I'm so used to the rare rendition of Donkey Kong and the way he looked,
That's
and
fair.
the proportions are changed just enough to make it like go into this weird. This isn't actually Donkey Kong. It looks like him, but he looks like an imposter. I'm sure I'll get over it. It is weird that he's wearing overalls, though.
It's because they don't want you to look at HD furry cheeks.
That's true. That's true. And you know, if you're going on a work site, you should wear pants.
Yeah, it's only right.
It's it's a health and safety thing.
It's
And there
In a
seem to be a lot of
decency thing.
colorful villains in this too.
There were already ones in the trailer.
Yeah.
So I mean, this game looks
It
phenomenal.
looks really fun.
I don't know if we're gonna get a 3D Mario for a couple years.
Yeah, probably not.
This is it
Yeah,
for a
if
bit.
this is what they're working on for sure. This is
Well, the thing is, because I listened to all the podcasts with some of the insiders and stuff, and there was a bit where they were like, the 3D Mario team is working on a Donkey Kong game, and then like they went quiet for a long time, and so the vibe was, I don't know if they're actually working on that anymore. With how quiet everything has been, it might have gotten canceled.
Yeah, or shifted to something
Or
else.
shifted
you
to
know.
something else,
Many-
whatever. Many other things.
Yeah.
And then the rumor was, I think they're actually working on a 3D Mario that would probably come out with the Switch.
interesting.
And then the rumor was that the Switch got delayed for the 3D Mario. But with how technical this game looks and how in depth it looks with the destruction physics, I would bet that this is what was delayed.
Yes.
Got the Switch delayed too.
Very likely.
Because how much game is there with how much you can tear apart this world and change it and terraform it?
Yeah.
And, you know what I mean? Like, it's crazy what you're going to be able to do, I think. And Seth said he thought it was going to be Mario, and I disagree. I saw the stuff, and at first my brain weirdly went to, this might be a Banjo game. I don't know why.
So close.
There was like a couple characters with weird eyes.
Yeah.
And I was like, ooh, those are kind of...
Yeah, I mean the
The-
googly
the
eyes,
eyes-
is a representative of the rare
And so
DNA, but
I was like, is this going to be a
I
Banjo?
I never recognized anything like that.
And then it was Donkey Kong.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Which is the next best thing in that regard.
Yeah, for certain.
I think this is cool. I think it's
The fact that it comes out in July is crazy.
it will be nice for DK to get the shine put on him. The only other 3D Donkey Kong game is both loved and hated.
Yeah.
And so it's nice for them to go to get a new shot at this.
Is Seth Rogen going to voice him?
I hope not.
And then is Fred Armisen going to voice Cranky Kong?
I hope so.
I think that the Fred Armisen one is worse than the
Yeah, I
Seth
don't know
Rogen.
what to think about either of those, and I don't want to imagine it.
Can I get John Cena voicing who's the cool one?
Funky Kong?
Funky Kong, yeah.
No, but you can get Vin Diesel.
Okay, that's
doing
actually
Funky
better.
Kong.
I'll take that.
Uh,
Or I'll also gladly accept Coleman Domingo as Funky Kong. He's got a funky voice.
He does have a funky voice. But yeah, I think I'm really excited about the Switch 2. It's going to be $450 for the base edition and $500 for the version that comes with Mario Kart World. And
Everyone, I don't understand why people are freaking out about this number. The 400 is like inflation adjusted is like the same price as what the Switch One was.
Well, also, this console is now doing things that are on par with the
Yeah,
other consoles.
it is. It's
so it should
clearly
be
based on
priced.
what they showed. It is
it's making me really mad that people are losing
processing
their mind.
wise on par. It is like a next gen. As
It is
we're not using
processing.
that.
It is processing at the level that a Steam Deck or a ROG Ally is.
Yeah.
But it is more expensive than a Steam Deck.
Barely. Steam Decks
depending
were
on
five.
depending on the model, obviously.
Yeah.
They have a lot of different options.
But yeah.
But this has Nintendo games on
Yeah,
it.
and also has
So-
a better form factor than the Steam Deck.
And it's lighter. Because one of the things that stopped, and it has offset joysticks. So I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, it's a superior console.
Superior. It's fine. Everyone's freaking out about it, and it's whatever. What can you do? The one thing that does suck is that there is a Japanese only one that is $330.
What?
But it only outputs in Japanese, which is how they're getting away.
Yeah, I saw
learn.
something about that. How they
I
have,
will
They have
learn.
brought back.
It's not really region locked,
yeah.
but it's because they don't have to pay as much to ship it out.
Yeah.
So it's cheaper for which I actually read an interesting article earlier today how that's actually going to cause more issues in Japan because a lot of people in Japan buy and output their consoles in English.
Yeah.
So
So
it's
once the games, who knows actually, because the games do output to your system language. So
yeah.
who knows? How
It
they do
is
that.
it is what it is. Game prices, Donkey Kong is 70, Mario Kart's 80, but Mario Kart looks to be a humongous game that they're probably going to support for a long time, Splatoon style.
Yeah.
That
It's-
support better be free support then, because $80 for
Well,
a base
if
game
anything,
is insane
it'll
to
be
me.
free support for the Switch Online expansion pass.
Oh yeah. Well, of course, yeah. I'm okay with that,
Yeah.
but
But yes, it is.
yeah.
I think it's a tough pill to swallow. It's more expensive in Europe,
Oh, way more
which
expensive.
is
Yeah.
crazy. I mean,
It-
I
that's-
guess that usually is.
That's
how
how
it
that
goes.
stuff is. I remember reading stories that the Xbox Series X was like, because of how things work, like almost $1,000 in Brazil.
But I
Like
think it's but usually with like Euro prices, the numbers are usually the same, and that ends up meaning that the Euro version is more expensive. But like so, Mario Kart is $80 here. It's 90. I don't know if it's 90 pounds or 90 euro that I saw there, which is like way more.
oh, that is way more.
It's crazy. I don't know who makes the pricing decisions here, and I'm sure they have a reason for it all. It is, but it's a tough pill to swallow.
You
And it does
notice-
seem like there's going to be a $10 surcharge for every, at least first party game that you buy
Upgrade.
physically.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you bypass that surcharge by buying digitally.
Yeah.
Not gonna happen for me, baby.
Nagada.
It will for me. It'll be fine.
I think that I bet
Break
it will
even.
happen in some instances for 44s.
Oh
think
yeah, I
that's-
actually have a system in place now where if I'm
Switch
like,
two?
yes, it is in my house right now. Where if I'm like deeply interested in a game, I will, or like I know I'm going to love it,
Yeah.
then I'll get a physical. If I'm or if it's like a game that's like Call of Duty Black Ops 6, I bought that digitally because
Yeah, you don't care.
yeah, I don't care. And there's a few other things that I have digitally. I think I just bought a game like a month or two back called Gungrave.
Gungrave Gore.
Yes, which is by the creator of Trigun.
Really?
Yeah,
I did not
yeah,
know that.
yeah. That's why I'm interested in it. The game's not great.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like I bought that digitally because again, I don't really care. But there are some games that I bought lately where I bought them, or over the last few years, where I bought them digitally and have gone, wow, I really love this. So I will sometimes wait for a physical to come out and get that.
Yeah, but I do think I am also a person who enjoys buying physical versions of games.
I like having a case on the shelf.
Yeah, because they're nice to look at. Although I think in this case, if all of the Switch cases are going to have that giant red bar on the top of it and a bunch of text on it, it's going to make me less want to have
Well, hold on.
and look at it.
Nintendo has a tendency to have an alternate cover
Yeah,
inside,
that's
so
true. It
I've
maybe-
switched a lot of my Switch game cases out to be that alternate
That's
cover.
true.
So if they, Lord willing, they keep up that trend, then I'll just switch my stuff to the alternate cover, and hopefully it doesn't have all the bull crap on
Yeah.
it.
But I do think it does warrant a further like cost benefit analysis of like, is
Do I
this
really
something
want
like
this?
do I want to pay the extra money just to have the physical version of this game?
Yeah.
Can I ask, as someone that doesn't care, why are people so mad at Nintendo for this game card thing that is literally just how a lot of video games work on consoles now with discs, where it's like 5 megabytes
Well, I
and
think
it just
I think
unlocks
part of
the-
it is that they hadn't been doing it before.
Yeah. So third-party Switch One games.
Yeah,
some of
there
them
were
have.
third-party ones. I think
Overwatch.
and none of the first-party titles that Nintendo announced were this. And I do think for the most part it will continue to be third-party. But I think also like when it is physical storage, you know that there are much like you can get SD cards up to like 2 terabytes. And so you know that with physical flash storage, you can have higher capacity in still the small form, and so it doesn't seem like there would be a reason to.
Not be able to
Not
just
be
put the
able to-
game on
yeah.
the cart.
But I think it's more due to it being Nintendo, and that is sort of something that feels antithetical to their ethos. Especially like with, I mean, the Sony and Microsoft, they were doing it back in Xbox One and PS4 days. They had some, like it wasn't often, but it was occasional that they would have stuff like that. What?
It's fine, keep going.
So I don't know. I think it is more because of the company that is. It did, although I do think that there is probably some misinformation because they do have this screen about the game key cards, and I think that some people are leaping to the
Thinking that this is the case for
thinking
all the
that
games.
all red Switch cartridges are this.
Yeah.
When it isn't the case, and it specifically says so on the boxes of the ones that do. Because even at first when I saw the little blurb, I was like,
I went,
wait a
"What the
minute,
heck?"
does this mean all of them are like this?
Yeah, I sent that immediately to one of my groups of friends and was like, this freaking sucks. And then immediately I went, I think I'm wrong on
Yeah.
this.
And I think the other thing is, for people who like to own physical media, those keys do sort of make it worthless to have. Because if you have to get online and download it, that means that you don't control that copy of the game anymore. Like
Yeah.
it does become dependent on your ability to get online and access servers.
Yeah, which isn't true ownership, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
And again, Sony and Microsoft have stuff like this with some of their games.
Yeah.
But I do think it's more of because it is Nintendo. And it also did feel like a thing that they snuck in, like with the price. They're like, this isn't a thing that we announced, but we put it on our website for you to go find and
Yeah.
be worried about it.
I
So I
get
think
that.
I think it's a combination of things. I think most people that are upset fell into that category of thinking this means that all of the cartridges are this.
Yeah.
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 All right.
So I don't know. So after I got home from work today, I went on the Nintendo's website, and they talked about it in the direct. They brought out the 3 leads, and they said how they had this developer interview thing. And I read all of it. It's really interesting. They talked a lot about how they going into this, they decided to go away from new hardware, like new built-in hardware.
Yeah.
And instead they wanted to focus on processing power because, and they phrase it in an interesting way about how, because they base the discussion around the Zelda games, how Breath of the Wild was built for Wii U, and so it was, it had the Wii U's limitations in mind. And when they made Tears of the Kingdom, they were able to open that scope up. But they talked about how when you naturally in development, when you provide a bigger toolkit for people to work with, the developers are inevitably going to find more things that push the boundaries of what they want to do, and they are unable to do it. So, and they talked about that was sort of the impetus of why they wanted to focus on processing power. And this obviously these discussions happen with any big company when they're making a new console, but it is something that Nintendo hadn't really done and hadn't put up to the forefront when they were making it. But there was also it's funny, you talked about how like Nintendo is recycling these old Xbox One ideas and people are excited about them. But there was a specific line they were talking about the mouse idea in the Switch. It was apparently an idea that one of the technical directors he had many years ago, and it just wasn't something that was feasible then. And so when they started to plan up for this, he went to like the technology development department. He brought it up to them, and they were like, "Oh, we also had the same idea." And they talked about where was it? It was a quote from from Gunpei Yokoi, the guy who he made the Game & Watch and the Game Boy.
Yeah.
How he had this design philosophy of lateral thinking of withered technology. So it was this idea that you could take old technology that isn't cutting edge and use it in new ways to get people interested. And so, I just think it's interesting how in this they specifically talked about how that was sort of a core.
Yeah.
And when you read that and knowing who it's from, it is clear when you look back at stuff that Nintendo has done, it's like, oh yeah, this does sort of permeate what they are doing. Because while they've also at times created brand new ways to play games, a lot of their stuff is bringing back old stuff. Like you look at the first Game & Watch had 2 screens, and years later they brought that back with the DS, and it was sort of revolutionary. That was. I just thought it was really neat how I read that, and then you brought it up with the Xbox, and it really is like it's stuff that. What was it like 10? It can't even. It was more. It was like 15 years ago or something that, the Kinect came out, and people were Microsoft at least was touting it as the sort of the future of controlling games, and then it later became clear that this is sort of more tedious than it is innovative and engaging with most games. And here, Nintendo is 10 years later, recycling and refining and that old technology, presenting it in a new and useful way. And it's I think it's really cool.
Are you excited that the Mario Jamboree stickers are going to be my face now?
Yes.
I mean,
and that we're going to have live action. Basically, that
having
weird
live
thing
action responses, I think, is better than you spamming the sticker button.
But what about the Mario
over.
Kart? Do you remember in Mario Kart in Dave and Buster's where you take the picture of yourself?
Yes.
That's basically what this also is going to be.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that Yves Guillemot got very hard when he saw this camera because it just meant that Just Dance had a new lease on life.
This is true.
Yep.
The Kinect is back.
He saw dollar signs.
I wonder if this is a camera or if it also shoots out tiny beams of light at you.
They show in Mario Party that it tracks the so you could like balance turtle stuff, the shells on your head. So it's got to be tracking you somehow, not just physically. It's got to be differentiating you from your environment. Got to be lasers. So
we didn't talk about the Wheelchair Rocket League.
We did a little bit. I think we talked enough about it. I don't know.
I think that's a game that looks it's very neat in concept, and it is cool to see.
You know that
a
Miyamoto
wheelchair
saw
basketball game.
The dunks look really cool.
Miyamoto saw a guy in a wheelchair after making the new Joy-Con mice and going,
I don't think. Well, based on this interview, it doesn't seem that Miyamoto had any input in the mic.
It's
the
possible.
mice.
The Mike Mice.
The Mike Mice. So, in this game, it's basically wheelchair basketball. What is it? Hasn't. I used to know that wheelchair basketball is murder ball, but I don't think that was ever the actual name of it, because it's very physical.
Yeah. True.
I cannot remember the name of this.
Oh my
thing.
God.
But it is controlled by you in mouse mode,
It is It's not fast fusion.
swiping it as if you are rolling
It's
the
something
wheel,
X
or
something.
driving the wheels with your hands. I can't imagine this game is fun to play. It looks very tedious. Drag and drive.
Murder
Just looks
Ball.
bad.
They do mention Murder Ball there. You were right, Seth.
Yeah, there we go. I was right.
Yeah. They also showed off a game called Fast Fusion, I think it was called, which
Yes.
is just an F-Zero game.
It is an
except
F-Zero.
They didn't have
so
to
this,
make it.
This developer has made, I think, 2 previous games.
Mhm.
One was on Switch, one was on Wii U. And they have, when they came out, each one of them has, like, reviewed very well, and everyone has given it very favorable comparisons to F-Zero, which it is clearly emulating. I've never played any of them, though.
I think I played the one on the Switch back when it came out.
I just wanted Arms 2.
Yeah.
This, I don't know. This Dragon Drive looks like it's developed by the ARMS people. I don't know if that's true, but the way it looks to be, it reminded me of ARMS.
Yeah?
An ARMS 2 would be fun.
Damon X Machina is getting
Damon
a
X
sequel.
Machina 2.
Crazy,
that
actually.
looked crazy.
It made me want to play the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do
liked
want to play
what I
the first
played
one,
of the
but I
demo.
also know that the performance is not great.
Yeah. Well, it will be
But
on
it
the
is
Switch too.
on it is on PC, so I guess you
yeah.
can play it on there.
Yeah.
I'll probably just wait for 2.
Can we pull up that other list that you have up over here? There was one thing on. Oh, Deltarune. That is
Yes,
the thing.
Deltarune.
chapters 3 and
Yeah,
4.
but I'm
It's
still
laun-
not going to start
It's dropping on launch day, I think.
Yeah.
it. Yep. But
With
it's
2
still
new
not
chapters.
done, so I'll play it when it's done.
It's really fun.
I know, but I want to. I want to
I-
play it all the way through.
It started playing the Field of Hopes and Dreams, and I have not finished Deltarune. I've not played Undertale at all. That song makes me cry.
How did you not play Undertale?
Cause I wasn't.
Would you believe
want
that
the gameplay. I wasn't
when you
interested in it.
when you finish part 1, there's a vocal version of it.
Oh, God.
that plays over the credits.
no,
It's
thank
great.
you.
Part
I'm
1
so
was
good.
great. I
think I almost finished part 1.
just don't want to wait. I don't want to wait.
I know it's tough. It's tough, but they're substantial chunks.
I know, but not enough.
Yeah.
I want to play through it all.
And I also think that the way that they end off makes it feel like an amount of time does pass.
In between each.
Like it
chapter.
doesn't actually. I think that it happened like, I think part 2 happens like the day after, but it does feel like there is. The emotional development of the characters means that there has been this time passing, and I don't know. I'm excited for it because there's this huge, insane cliffhanger at the end of part 2, so that I am excited to get back to this.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm going to get it day 1. I'll pre-order it however I can.
Yeah.
Fight God somehow. I don't know.
Pre-order's not available until next week
April 9th.
anywhere.
If you get invited on the 8th, you can get the pre-order that way.
Yeah, but also if the it's a convoluted process for being eligible if you want to order it through Nintendo. You have to have a Nintendo Switch Online membership.
For over a year.
And
Got
also
that.
you have to have like 40 hours of gameplay on Switch since April 1st.
Whoa.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Okay, that's too long. Dang it. All right, well, Best Buy it is. So,
And I'm sure that that's probably just it will give you priority. I'm sure that, but I don't know. There's going to be a bunch of people who are wanting to pre-order it that will have satisfied that. So, yeah.
all right. Well, I appreciate y'all hanging out with us. It's been almost 2 hours. We appreciate you listening to us talk about this. We're excited about the Switch 2. We talked about it some in the Discord, and there's going to be Treehouse Lives the next 2 days going over stuff.
I was gonna ask if y'all watched any of them from today. I didn't get the chance.
I don't think
to.
there was any today.
Yeah, I think there was one right after the thing.
I don't.
No, I
there
think
was.
it's the next 2 days.
I think I've been living in the then. 'Cause
Possibly.
I saw the
Well,
Treehouse
you-
Live.
Yeah, you did think
thing.
it was like an hour later, so maybe you are in the future.
But with that, we appreciate you listening, and we will talk at you next time. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
See ya.